Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so, as always, a new EZA is upon us, so a new team building guide is coming out from your boy. So, the DYSPO and TOPPO EZA finally arrives on Global. I talked about the units very briefly in a couple of videos already. The DYSPO, I don't really think anyone's going to use unless you are doing something with the full Universe 11 team. But TOPPO is really, really good. So, let's have a look at this. So it's like a standard 30-stage EZA, but there's a couple of variations. So for the first 5 stages, you fight TOPPO in his SSR form, then DYSPO for the next 5 stages, then the TUR, so God TOPPO for 5 stages, and then the speed mode DYSPO for 5 stages, and then the final 10 stages is both of them at the same time. Now normally you get a restriction put in at stage 20. In this one it comes in at stage 13. It's kind of weird. You get damage reduction of 70% against int and physical. So you pretty much want to scratch off int and physical units from your list, which means you're left with STR, AGL and Tech. And then what I would say is you want to try and make your team mostly AGL and Tech, because then you have type advantage over both of the units, but you don't have any characters on your team that are going to have type disadvantage. Whereas if you do bring STR units, you need to make sure that they don't get loads of hits from DYSPO, especially as you get further through. But other than that, it is like a normal 30-stage EZA. We get the medals to awaken everybody. You get the 30 stones plus the ones from the missions. You actually get a couple of extra. Normally you get 34. I think they did this with the Techkhalifa one as well, because the missions are for awakening each character, so you get them twice. So it's 36 stones in total. You get a couple of Kais for getting them to full level. But the one thing to note is you do only get 5 Kais of each type. That is pretty much perfect though. If you're someone who has these units at SA 10 already, then the 5 Kais is all you really need to get them to max SA after EZAing them. So we're going to have a look, as always, at my top picks and some honourable mentions for the team build. The category is Universe Survival Saga, so obviously there's quite a few options. It's not the biggest category in the world, and remember, we're disregarding pretty much physical and int units. So jumping straight in, obviously if you decide to summon on the banner, because the banner comes out at the same time as the EZA, right? So if you decide to summon on the banner first and you pull Jhin, then he's probably your best bet of leader to use, because you've got that Universe Survival Saga at 150%. Chances are you might not be using any other Universe 11 units, but it really doesn't matter just because of how good he is. Like, in the earlier stages, possibly even right up to stage 30, he will probably be able to one-shot DYSPO for like most of the event. So that is obviously really good. And then of course, if you do get to inflict attack down or defense down, let me double check, because I know you can't attack lower enemies in an EZA after the first few stages. Oh, you literally can't defense lower them straight away. Alright, so he's not going to be able to get his attacks effective against all types in the EZA, but he is going to absolutely demolish DYSPO. So if you do summon before doing the EZA and you pull this guy, he's probably like a must include on this event. So then, funnily enough, where I've included the hit, I think he's possibly the next best choice of lead if you're just running a pure Universe Survival Saga team. And the reason for that is because he's not STR, like the original Jhin that we have, or another couple of units that we're going to look at. And yeah, he's Tech, so his defense is not the best, but obviously EZAs are not super hard, at least for the first like 15 stages or more, depending on your box and your like dupe investment and stuff like that in your characters. So even though he can't stun, he is going to be pretty decent, and he'll work well as a lead. Plus, if you're bringing other Universe 6 units, they're obviously going to get a much bigger buff from him being the leader as well, so that's going to work out quite nicely. Otherwise, you go on to classics like the Blue Kaioken Goku, so he has Universe Survival Saga or reps of Universe 7, so he does have a higher leader skill than the 2 units we've talked about so far for Universe Survival Saga, but he is an STR unit, so again, you have to make sure you're careful with where he takes hits from DYSPO. But of course, there is also the option to kind of cheese the event, where as long as you bring enough representatives of Universe 7 allies, you can just get the Spirit Bomb off and just absolutely destroy probably TOPPO, because you don't want to risk not critting against DYSPO, and then the rest of the rotation can just destroy DYSPO thanks to that buff that they get from his active skill. So he's still a good option, you just got to be careful because he's an STR unit. And then, of course, there's the Jhin as well, the original pure Universe Survival Saga leader. Nothing really to say about him. He's got decent enough stats. He can't stun all of the enemies, so he can't get the auto crit or anything like that. So he's probably like a last resort for your leader. So then, of course, moving into some of the LRs. Now, this guy is very easy to make a full Representatives of Universe 7 team that is also all Universe Survival Saga units. So, for a lot of people, if you do have the LR Goku and Frieza, you're probably better off using them as the leader and just making a full team of reps of Universe 7 who are in Universe Survival Saga, which is almost all of them. I think there's only 1 or 2 reps of Universe 7 units who aren't in Universe Survival Saga, and some of them are the units that you'd never use anyway, like the Beerus in the Monarcha costume. So these guys are probably your best bet if you can build a full reps of Universe 7 team. Of course, that means you can't run non-reps of Universe 7, like the LR Techkhalifa, still a top tier unit in the right circumstances, and this is one of those circumstances because obviously you are fighting against Universe Survival Saga enemies, so they will be getting a guaranteed additional super attack. So you've got their initial super, the guaranteed normal attack that they do secondarily, and then the guaranteed additional 12 key super, and then obviously depending on your dupe investment and stuff like that, there's always the possibility that you can get another super attack as well. So these guys will actually be really, really good on here. They obviously raise their defense with each of their supers, so they're going to be good defensively as well. And yeah, they're probably, unless you're running the reps of Universe 7 build, these guys are probably an auto include on the team if you do have them. And of course, like I said, if you run Hit as your leader, they get an even bigger buff because they're Universe 6. So then, of course, another STR unit, but who is probably not going to be anywhere near as risky to use as long as the RNG goes your way, is the STR LR UI Goku. Considered, again, one of the top tier units in the game. He has a 70% chance to dodge for the first, was it 7 turns, which, you know, like an EZA normally never goes on longer than 7 turns, so you should be all good with that. And of course, the more he dodges, the more powerful he gets. He does also, everyone memes on how bad of an ability he is, but he has disables enemies guard as part of his super attack, which means he will also be able to just do perfectly normal damage to DYSPO as well as TOPPO. So it doesn't matter who you target, you don't have to worry about him needing to crit in order to do damage to DYSPO. So that is actually good. It's another reason why he will be very, very useful in this EZA event as well. So then we move on to Techkhalifa. So Techkhalifa, again, Universe 6, if you're running the Hit build, she will have a 100% chance to dodge in this event because she's fighting against Universe Survival Saga enemies. So even if she's not the hardest hitting unit in the world, you can literally just put her in the slot where the most attacks are, and then you don't need to worry about it because there you go, you can't take any damage. So she's probably an MVP if you have a slightly lower level box, because even if you have her at only 55%, she still has that 100% chance to dodge all the time in this event. So she's going to be really, really good as well. Moving on, we have the Skinny Boo, or the Majin Buu Shape Up. Again, he's a unit that is really good for EZAs because he gets his full passive only for 7 turns, which, again, like the UI Goku, you're probably never going to get to a point where that runs out. And him having like 300% attack and defense, enough key to essentially auto super, and then the built-in 50% chance to dodge, like he's just going to be really, really good. And obviously being AGL, he's going to do a lot of damage to TOPPO, even though he can't stun from his super attack. So he's going to be really good to have on the team as well. Then we have the Krillin, who came with the LR Blue Boys banner. He can be a Representatives of Universe 7 sub-lead if you do want to run the full reps of Universe 7 team and then bring like a Goku and Frieza friend. Can't, unfortunately, lower their attack or stun. And then, of course, to get the full, like, utility out of this Krillin, you do need to bring an Android 18 on the team. But again, there is a decent Android 18 on the category who I have brought up here somewhere. She might even be the next unit. So if you're going to use the Krillin, you probably want to use her as well. No, so we've got Kefla next. So AGL Kefla, obviously after her EZA, she does have the built-in chance to dodge. She raises defense on super attack. She's also a ridiculously good link partner for the LR Techkhalifa if you are going to bring them. So, I mean, I think if you're bringing LR Techkhalifa, it's probably an auto-include option to bring her just to go on rotation with them. So, then we have the Android 18. So, this is who you want to bring if you are going to run the AGL Krillin. Obviously she's tech, so you've got type advantage over DYSPO. She is a nuking style unit who does change her own orbs. And then of course you're not restricted to only having to pick up tech orbs if the orb changing didn't work out too well. Because she does get attack and defense per keysphere obtained, so it's good if you can get a nice amount of orbs regardless of the color. She's going to be able to get up to a decent level of defense, and then yeah, because she's tech, she'll be able to take care of DYSPO fairly easy. It's a good combo with that Krillin, because she can attack DYSPO and the Krillin can attack TOPPO, and both have type advantage, so very, very good. Then we have the Kefla. So I did include 1 or 2 extra like STR units just because they will still have the potential to be good in this event, right? Because Kefla, as long as you can get 6 or more orbs, she does have the 50% chance to dodge, so you don't have to worry too much if you have to put her in a slot where she's getting attacked by DYSPO. And then of course on the next turn she comes around, she transforms into Super Saiyan and is going to do that little bit extra damage. And then you might, yeah, if you get to turn 5, I guess maybe once you're up to stage 30 or higher, you probably can. She'll transform into Super Saiyan 2. And then because you're fighting Universe Survival Saga enemies, you can use her active skill immediately to change orbs and get attacks effective against all types. So if you've already taken out TOPPO, for example, and only DYSPO is left, you can use her active skill straight away. And then she doesn't have to worry about having type disadvantage against him, and she can just take him out. Probably on that turn, to be fair, if you're up to turn 5. So, and then the final honourable mention, I put in the STR Kale. Now, the reason I put her in is obviously she does raise her attack and defense infinitely as well. She gets a decent buff based on how you've built your team, so she's probably best used in the Universe 6 build. And then of course, because you're fighting a Universe Survival Saga enemy, she gets a guaranteed additional super attack, and then she has guarding as long as you have a Kefla attacking in the same turn. So she's really good to use if you are running a Kefla, because then you don't need to worry about her being attacked by DYSPO, because she's going to guard anyway. So even though hit is not that great, I guess you could use Kefla as the leader if you really didn't want to use hit, but a Universe 6 team is a really good way to approach this event, especially if you have maybe a lower level box, because like I say, the Techkhalifa, this Kale, they're going to be able to operate really, really well on this event, even if they don't have a ton of dupes. Whereas like the Universe 7 build team, you probably want to have a little bit more investment in some of those characters. But overall, those are the units that I would recommend bringing, or at least have some honourable mentions. Let me know if you think there's anyone that we didn't cover. Just have a quick look down. I guess we've got like free-to-play units like the Kakunsa. Don't want to use Rosie because she's in. I guess you could use the DYSPO, but AGL God Goku's not the best. SSBE Vegeta is decent, but still not the best. But if you're running a Reps of Universe 7 team, he's perfectly fine to throw on there. And then Tech, we pretty much covered everyone. The Tech 17 isn't very good. And then the free-to-play Kabe is probably just like, again, a final slot filler if you don't have any other units you can use. And if you are going to bring a bunch of STR units on the team, you could always bring the Kabe as well to give support to all of those STR units. But there you go. Let me know if you think there's anyone that I missed. Good luck on the EZA. Let us know down below in the comments what team you're planning to use, and if you need any further advice or questions on the team building, feel free to ask down in the comments, and I or some other helpful person from our wonderful community will be able to help you out. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the link to my Discord in the description, feel free to join in the fun over there, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.